How's it going, old schoolers? You are kicking it old school, and I'm your host, Russell JS. Excellent. You know, just by making the video that I just made a little while ago to let you know I was back, I didn't go anywhere, I got inspired to make another video. You're probably wondering why I'm acting like some kind of headbanging surfer kind of guy, but here's the thing. This is gonna be a video I've been wanting to do. It's a versus video. Like I did with Best of Both Worlds and Best of Volume 1 with Van Halen. It's going to be two movies that consist of headbanging duos. They're going to go ahead and duke it out over who had the funniest, best movie. How about this? It is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure versus Wayne's World. Now, to do a video like this, I mean, it's going to be totally triumphant. I mean, I have a feeling that both movies, it's going to be a tie. Not! But yeah, it's going to be bodacious because you got Wayne and Garth, you got you have a headbanging duo that has a public access TV show down in their parents' basement in Aurora, Illinois, versus two time-traveling, guitar-playing surfer dudes from San Dimas, California, trying to pass a history exam. Now, the thing is, I want to go ahead and give you my review. Now, if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit a like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the box down below, and also hit the bell for notifications. And tell all your friends about this channel so we could build it up. I'm back and I'm going to build the audience. Like I said in the last video, we went through some hard times here in Southwest Florida, but we're slowly getting back. Now, without further ado, let's check these bad Oscars out, shall we? Excellent. First off, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Now, one of the things we could say about this movie is it was funny, it was witty, very humorous, a lot of good puns. I mean, this movie made Keanu Reeves into a household name, and George Carlin got introduced to a whole new audience. And as for Alex Winter, well, they did make a sequel to this, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but you never heard much about Alex Winter. I mean, I heard after Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, he moved on to do documentary films while Keanu Reeves thrived with his movie career that he's got going today. And George Carlin, he was in a few movies here and there and, made cameos and, pretty much went back to doing his stand-up comedy routine up until the day he died. But I think what happened was when Back to the Future came out 4 years before this gem did, I think I forget, let's see, who was it? Chris Matheson and Ed Sullivan, who created these two characters. The thing is, they used to do these two characters of Bill and Ted as a skit when they were going into college. And what had happened was they went to Hollywood and they made it about these two surfer guitar playing dudes who were failing history in high school. And it turns out that, 700 years into the future, their music, the music that they play, is going to keep the world at peace. God, can you imagine starting a band only to find out that you got to stick together because one day your music is going to align the planets and bring world peace? I mean, even John Lennon, he kept on boasting about imagine all the people living life in peace. And nobody really listened to John Lennon when he was talking about that. All they wanted to do was hear his music. But yeah, the whole premise of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is they're failing history. They have dreams, they have aspiring dreams to form the most awesome band in the whole wide world. But what's stopping them is if they fail history, Ted's father is going to send him off to military school in the well, you know that. Oates' military academy in Alaska. So, with the help from the messenger in the future, Rufus, played by the late great George Carlin, Bill and Ted, they want to go ahead and ask, historical figures. They're supposed to go, their report is supposed to be, what would historical figures think of the world of San Dimas in 1988? And instead of, going through the books, they decide to, take them on a journey to come to the 20th century in 1988 San Dimas for them to take a look and see what they think. And then what happens is all hijinks break loose. Napoleon Bonaparte loves going to Waterloo Water Park. All the historical figures, they're exploring the local shopping mall and taking a look for themselves, where Genghis Khan as he ravished China, he ravished Ashman Sporting Goods. Joan of Arc took over an aerobics program. And Beethoven, he started doing that thing, where you got the keyboard on one side and the keyboard here, and there he was, jamming away, and they all got arrested, the cops thinking they're all weirdos, they're all, crazies. So Bill and Ted got to go ahead and rescue their historical figures, bring them to the school to do their report, and lo and behold, they pass, and they get with the medieval princess babes. And of course, there is a sequel called Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where they did a twist. Instead of going into history, they go into the afterlife. So what happens is, at that point, they got to go ahead and get their lives back together because they're taken over by androids that look just like them, almost kind of like a Terminator gag in a way. So they got to go ahead and save the world once again from these androids and go through heaven and hell and back to Earth to do it. And all in all, this movie right here, if you hadn't seen it, I might have given you a few spoilers. You might want to go ahead and pick this gem up. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's not really Keanu Reeves' first movie. It was one out of a few that he did. But this is the one that really made Keanu Reeves into a household name. And, it's a real fun movie. It's, if you're into heavy metal, time traveling, surfer type, playing guitar, this is a movie for you. And the next one, it's contender, it's competition. Wayne's World, starring Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, which was produced by Lorne Michaels, directed by Penelope Spheeris, and written by Lorne Michaels, Penelope Spheeris, and Mike Myers. Wayne's World is about two headbanging friends that do a public access show in their basement, in their parents' basement. And they like to go on Friday night, cruise the scene, go see bands, stop at a donut shop, listen to Bohemian Rhapsody and bang their heads to the guitar solo, and check out some babes. Swing! But, and then Wayne meets good-looking bass player Cassandra, played by Tia Carrere. Swing! I thought I'd get into it. Excellent. And what happens is, in this movie, Wayne and Garth are discovered by a top executive, network TV exec who wants to make it into a regular network show. And, they'll become rich beyond their wildest dreams. They get into hijinks like how to deal with corporate sponsors, how to maintain relationships with girls, watch bands play, and Alice Cooper gives them the history of Milwaukee. Now, the thing is, very funny movie. This started out, Mike Myers did a sketch, I think it was on Second City or sketch comedy show in Canada where he's from, where he played a headbanger named Wayne Campbell, and he called the skit Wayne's Garage, and he would review heavy metal albums of the time back in the 80s. And then when Myers became a regular player on Saturday Night Live in the late 80s, early 90s, he went ahead and wanted to bring the character to life on live TV, and with the help of Dana Carvey, who played Garth Algar. You see, Dana knew a guy that was similar to Garth, and Dana also played the drums too when he was in high school. So it gelled together. And with the popularity of Bill and Ted on the rise, they did quite a few skits on Saturday Night Live with Wayne's World, and it became a popular favorite that in 1992, Wayne's World became a full-length feature, and it had been the second movie ever to be based on a Saturday Night Live sketch. You know, probably the biggest one since the Blues Brothers. Because if you remember, when they were coming out with all these movies based on Saturday Night Live sketches, back in 1980, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd would do the Blues Brothers, and there would never be a movie based off a Saturday Night Live sketch until Wayne's World. And when Wayne's World became very popular, what that did was Lorne Michaels had an idea, you know, like, let's make movies based off sketches. Some were good, some were not so good. I mean, like the summer after this movie came out, Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin and some older SNL cast members past and present, they got together, collaborated to bring us the Coneheads. You know, Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin reprised their roles as Beldar and Primat Conehead from the planet Remulak, trying to fit in amongst the blunt skulls of Earth and raise their teenage daughter. And, you know, you had an ensemble cast. I mean, Dave Thomas, Chris Farley, Chris Rock, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, Tom Arnold, David Spade, Michael McKean, and Michael Richards. Like people, all sorts of people of SNL past and present, and, you know, from other TV and movies based around SNL, like Michael McKean of Spinal Tap fame, and, you know, Tom Arnold, who was at the time married to Roseanne, and you had Sinbad, and you had, I mean, and it didn't do so well at the box office. I mean, Subway did some heavy promotion because there's a scene where Connie Conehead takes the sandwich and just like that. But what I'm getting off subject as I usually do. Wayne's World started a whole new trend. It was kind of like when the first ever live action superhero movie, Superman with Christopher Reeve. I mean, they pumped out 3 more sequels of Superman, and then after the 4th one didn't do so well, 1989 came Batman, and when Batman made it big at the box office, just like with Wayne's World, they decided they got to figure out a way to pump out, you know, all kinds of superhero movies. And, you know, some were okay, some were bland. But, you know, same thing with, you know, the Saturday Night Live based movies. I mean, like I said, Wayne's World also had a sequel called Wayne's World 2. And again, it wasn't as good. They kind of did a knockoff of Field of Dreams. If you remember the movie Field of Dreams, where Kevin Costner gets visited by all the famous dead baseball players to build a baseball field in his, you know, backyard, and they said, if you build it, they will come. They have it where Wayne has dreams, where he's out in the desert, and a weird naked Indian takes him to meet up with Jim Morrison, and Jim Morrison tells him to put on a concert in Aurora. If you book them, they will come, and he's trying to book Aerosmith and all kinds of famous bands, and, you know, it was an okay movie, but it couldn't top this classic right here. And, you know, after Wayne's World, he came Coneheads, and then Wayne's World 2, It's Pat, which, you know, that was short-lived at the box office, and it was directly brought to video. And I saw it. It was terrible. And Blues Brothers 2000, you know, Night at the Roxbury, MacGruber, so on and so. I mean, but, you know, Wayne's World did help catapult, you know, what Saturday Night Live could accomplish on screen. But, you know, anyway, I'm at that point where I got to rate these two. Let's see. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. What I say about it is it was funny, it was witty, it made Keanu Reeves a household name. George Carlin got a whole new audience. And, it wasn't Back to the Future. I mean, it was kind of like Back to the Future, except they do a little bit of Doctor Who with a time-traveling phone booth. So if I have to give it a rating, I have nothing bad to say about this movie. I enjoy it, and I enjoyed its sequel. I enjoyed its, animated series it had on Saturday morning. The video game was bleh on the NES. The Angry Video Game Nerd. Of course, the game was, LJN, the Angry Video Game Nerd. He went ahead and threw a stink about it. But, yep. I enjoy this movie very much. But when Wayne's World came out, I have to say, it was more original. It was hilarious. The comedy was spot on. I saw this movie at the theater 3 times. Okay, that's how great it was. And, sure, there's, no time traveling in a phone booth and picking up, historical figures from another time. But, you got these 2 charming, innocent, headbanging guys that, just enjoy life in their hometown of Aurora, Illinois. And they get to meet Alice Cooper. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. But yeah, if I have to go ahead and I gotta, I'm not gonna even do a toss-up. I have to say, yeah. Give me a moment, will ya? I'll be right back. Okay, I've made a decision. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was very charming. It was very witty. It was hilarious. It had its cheesy, goofy moments, and it gave Keanu Reeves a household name and revitalized George Carlin for a new generation. But Wayne's World, the comedy was original. It was sharp. It was, it was mega. And it had a lot more laughs to it. It was very intelligent. So I have to go ahead. I've decided to make the choice when it comes to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure versus Wayne's World. Now, leave your comments. Feel free to leave your comments in the box below. Which one of these movies, which one of these bad Oscars did you like better? They're both bad Oscars in my book. They are both fun movies. But I have to go with Wayne's World for the originality, the sharper humor, the acting, more bodacious babes, and it's got Alice Cooper in it. How can you go wrong? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was fun, was amazing, was cool, was funny, but it only had half of it was only original. They could have done something, They said that, originally Bill and Ted were going to use a time-traveling van to go through time, but they didn't want to emulate Back to the Future. They emulated Doctor Who in this movie. So, I have to say the funnier movie is Wayne's World. And that's going to be my take on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure versus Wayne's World. Leave your comments down in the box below. Give me your opinion, your input, your feedback on which one you think was the funnier one, which was the better one. And don't beat me up too bad verbally on those comments, please. And if you're new to the channel, hit a like, subscribe, leave a comment in the box below, and hit the bell for notifications. And tell all your friends. There's going to be a lot more. Like I said in the last video that I made a while back, I'm back. I had been back. I've just been busy with a lot of things going on in life. I've been planning on, I'm trying to find new materials, studying more on narcissistic behavior, figuring out new kicking it old school themes. And I've been plenty busy with all the hurricanes and things like that, and also a new girlfriend. But, like I said, I'm back again. So, I missed you all. I want to say I really missed all of you. And, we're going to share some bad Oscars with the Weekly Narc again. We're going to do some Kicking It Old School. I'm going to be looking at, all kinds of places to go to. Till then, this is your old pal, Russell J.S., wanting to wish you all Godspeed. And may the force be with you always.